Hello, Team Awesome. I hope that you are continuing to live your best life as I. I also hope that you are healthy and safe. If you had told me a week ago that I would be filming this from my backyard, I would not have believed you. But one thing is constant, and that is change will occur. But as we move on to this next chapter, or through this next chapter, I'm going to have the department heads tell you what's going on in their sections. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy.
Got Old Glory in the background here. So, this telework thing has been kind of hard for everyone, I know. Some of the benefits of it, though, is that you don't have to commute and you could do something like take an afternoon hike like I am today. So I'm up here. Let me show you around a little bit. I can't do that, but my neighborhood right here, I could see San Gorgonio, Mount San Jacinto. I don't know if you could see it, but Lake Elsinore there, Canyon Lake here, and Eagle right there. Hopefully you're making all that out. What's interesting is I hiked up here today and I found a big hole in the ground, and I'm thinking, okay, you know they're gonna bury someone right here, right? Can you see that? I'm wondering who they're gonna bury. I don't know, but anyway, taking advantage. Hopefully with COVID-19, everyone's holding up. I know that we're maintaining social distances here, and speaking about social distances, I'm going to talk to you about T2 a little bit. I'm headed down right now. Watch out for some rattlesnakes for me. Anyway, something's in the bushes over there. And right there too. So this is more than a 45-degree angle, so I gotta take my time with this trail right here. Anyway, T2. So I got word yesterday from IEXA that 100% of us are going to go to T2, which is great. Let me tell you a little bit about T2 for those of you who are not familiar with it. And a lot of you have probably heard something already from one of your people sitting across from you, or from someone else in another code who's currently on it. And I would say what I've heard from people is about 50-50 as it relates to whether it's a positive thing or negative thing. And I think even the negative talk has kind of died down a little bit. Most of the negativity was, it's a slow system. But I think part of that is getting better. Anyway, one of the aspects of the system, I got some people on the trail with me. One of the aspects of the system that people are excited about is the ability for transparency and for team-to-team communication. And so when you have that, you have the ability to do a lot more for each other. The other aspect is how it was born to begin with. One of the reasons why the system came about to begin with was as a result of common customer complaints, number one. One of the customer complaints that we had was that there wasn't really good timing on the communication back from staff. And when we went to staff and asked the question, they said, oh my gosh, I have a lot of email. And when we started T2, we were like, holy cow, they have a lot of email. And so what do you do as a supervisor or manager? You problem solve it. And if you can't see the volume of communication, you can't see why we have that type of communication, you can't measure it, I'll slip there, you can't really solve for it. So therein lies the ability to do the team-to-team communication via the SharePoint site and start collecting data and communication all in one spot. And so that's kind of why T2 was kind of born, is out of the feeling that we were spending too much time doing things that maybe that we didn't have to do, and we could spend more of that time doing things like producing certificates and doing recruitment actions. litter. I'll get it. Anyways, we'll start rolling out with a schedule here soon for every branch to roll up into T2. Most of the DCHRs and the customers already know that they will be rolling in here soon. And so more to come on that. One of the major improvements that we've had with T2 so far is that when we've captured the data, we were able to see that about 40% of the communication, 45%, was FJOs and TJOs. And when you consider that that's a lot of the communication there, you start problem solving. Well, how do we reduce that? Well, we're able to move it to the FJO Ready tool, where the HRO doesn't need to send a separate email. They do what they would have done anyway, and it ends up on the report for us. Furthermore, we get to be on the same page as the HRO, and we get to see whether it's a complete work product. It's not 100%, but it gets us closer to where we have a shared understanding of whether that's a complete work product. When we took a look at the FJO and T2, we determined about 50% of the FJOs came in with something wrong already. 50% is a very, very high number, right? So hopefully that brings us a little bit closer. Almost lost my footing there. Rocks, can you see that? Rocks. I love the color of these rocks right here, but dangerous. TJOs, those are on the way. We'll be incorporating that into the FJO Ready tool and calling it the job offer tool. And the goal there is to reduce the amount of emails or T2 communications you have to put in the system notifying HRO about the fact that they can offer a TJO. And you don't have to do nothing but audit the cert. They'll just automatically see that the person's been uploaded into Onboarding Manager, and they'll be able to make their tentative job offer. So when people say, hey, it took a little bit more time to do this, which is the main complaint of T2, think about the fact that we've been able to take that big chunk of communication from email and reduce it so far by about 25% with the job offer FJO tool, and maybe another 20% or so with the TJOs. And that's a lot less time that we're actually spending on communication, right? Time savings, more time you get to spend on doing value added work. Which way do I go down? I'll go down this way. On value added work versus communication. So there's a top, made it down significantly. Can't see the flag, but I don't have too much farther down to go. Not too many people out today. Beautiful day though. Anyway, for the 3 people that are watching this, I appreciate you watching. I'm out. Peace.
Hi team OCHR, it's Elisa with Code 40. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy and practicing that social distancing. I know I'm here in my backyard trying to get some vitamin D and some sunshine in as we continue this work from home, utilizing my coworker here, aka my son, to do some videotaping of me to share some information for this all hands video. So I'm going to share information with you today relating to DPMAP, as we wrap up the end of our performance cycle, and then also information on the Civilian Employee Assistance Program. So to start with DPMAP, just some key dates that you need to be aware of. March 31st does mark the end of our performance cycle, so we're coming up on it real quick. By April 15th is when you will have your performance assessment input due to your supervisor. So this is mandatory for all OCHR San Diego employees to provide input to their supervisor for each one of their critical elements within the DPMAP My Performance tool. So for some of you, this may be your first time writing a performance assessment. So you may be asking yourself, what is it? Where do I start? How do I go about, writing to each of these elements? So your self-assessment narrative is your written description of work accomplishments related to the performance elements identified in your performance plan. Yesterday, or March 24th, Jim Klingscales in Code 40, he did send out an email which provided a number of resources, some tips on how to go about writing your performance assessment. There was even some samples in there on how to go about writing your performance assessment. So what are some of the highlights of that email that I just kind of want to point out to you? You want to focus on your achievements rather than the tasks. So what did you accomplish during the rating cycle? What was significant about what your accomplishments were? Did you meet the standard? Did you exceed the standard? You know, you want to use those types of terms in writing to what it is that you accomplished. Make the connection between what you did and how it helped the organization. Were there any challenges that you had to overcome? What were those challenges? How did you go about overcoming those challenges? What was the ultimate impact? Some key questions you might want to keep in mind as you write this is, what did I achieve? How well did I do it? What behaviors did I exhibit? You know, was I timely in it? Was I proactive? Those types of things. And how did it help my organization? Some of the material that Jim provided also talks about some models that you can use in writing your assessment. So he provided information on the SCRAM model, as well as the ORCA model. So the SCRAM model is one that I personally have used in the past, and it's the situation. So what was the situation, the challenge, any challenges you had to overcome, what was the results, what actions did you take, and what were the measurements? Overall, how did you achieve that goal? ORCA is the objective, results, contribution, and added value. So it really speaks to how did you add value to the organization. So those are some tools that you may use when you're writing your own assessment. So one thing you need to know is that the My Performance tool is in DCPDS. That does mean that you have to connect to the VPN when you're inputting your performance assessment. Now that we're all teleworking, we are trying to limit our access to VPN to the extent that we can, only going into it when we need to. So what are some best practices for ensuring you don't lose information, you're not kicked off the system, and you're limiting your VPN access? Copy and paste it into a Word. So copy your performance plan into a Word document. Write your assessment in the Word document. Even when we're not in a telework status, this is the method I typically take, only because I've been kicked out of DCPDS even in a non-telework status. So make sure that you keep in mind the character counts. Jim sent information on the character limitation. So there is a 2,000 character limitation in the My Performance tool. He sent direction on how to ensure that you can keep track of the number of characters or words that you've used in Word, so that when you copy and paste it, it fits into the My Performance tool. So save it as you go, copy and paste it when you're done, and save it to the My Performance tool. I know OCHR San Diego has accomplished, lots of great things during this year, so this is really your opportunity to toot your own horn, make sure that your supervisor is aware of all your accomplishments, and as we wrap up this rating cycle, we're going to be beginning for the new one, beginning April 1st, so be ready for your new performance plan and being communicated to you by April 30th. Okay, so moving on to the CEAP, the Civilian Employee Assistance Program. So the Civilian Employee Assistance Program provides a wide range of services to employees and their families. So Jim also provided an email on March 24th, which provided information relating to CEAP and the resources that they provide. Many of us are experiencing a range of emotions. At this time, we may be dealing with family and friends who are experiencing the same. I know my kids, personally are struggling with not being in school, seeing their friends, sports being canceled, not having that routine or, any sense of normalcy at this point, trying to provide that to them, but I don't have all the answers. So this can definitely be a time of uncertainty and, challenging for many in many ways. So CEAP has recently provided a number of resources specifically addressing matters related to COVID-19. So this includes ways that you can help yourself if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious, maybe you're just feeling a little overwhelmed by the situation. Some of the key points that I will mention that were also included in the all hands email yesterday or on March 24th are, seek health information from trusted resources like the Center for Disease Control or CDC, as well as the World Health Organization or WHO. Take good care of yourself. Make sure you're washing your hands, you're practicing that social distancing, you're drinking water, you're eating well, you're getting rest, taking a walk outside, getting some sunshine. I know I've seen a number of people in my neighborhood with much more frequency, getting outside and taking those walks. Put things into perspective. Most people who contract COVID-19 recover. Those at the greatest risk are seniors and people with existing health conditions. And then stay informed, but don't overdo it. We know that, the media is constantly covering this. It is obviously a topic that we want to stay informed about, but, be mindful of not overdo it. So the email that Jim provided on March 24th includes resources for self-help programs, financial services. I know that I personally feel grateful for the fact that we have job stability. We're going to continue to receive that paycheck, but I know that's not the case for everybody. So, there are financial services and even a listing of discount products and services available to civilians. And you can speak with a clinical professional 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-844-DAWN-CF. That's 1-844-366-2327. Or you can visit their member website at www.magellanascend.com. All of that information is included in the email that Jim sent out. All services are confidential, but I do encourage you to take advantage of the many services and resources that CF has to offer as you see fit. And I hope you all have a great rest of your OCHR San Diego day, and I hope to see everyone's faces back in the office soon. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Richard Siebert. I'm the director of the Training and Development Center of Excellence. I'm filming this from my backyard. I live on Wildcat Lake here in Washington State. So I wanted to give you an update on what's happening in the area of training and development. As you know, we've canceled classes through mid-May. This includes the retirement courses, the technical courses, and our lunch and learns. In addition, our flash mentoring course. These are all things that we will reschedule. So I would like to encourage you to go to the portal site, the training portal site, and look at the schedule to see when these classes will be rescheduled. In the meantime, we will look at which of these courses we can convert into some virtual type of course so that we can provide some training in the interim time. The other thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to have a good conversation with your supervisor to look at your IDP and look at what kinds of training opportunities you can take advantage of in a telework situation. So example, some of the soft skills, leadership, management, business acumen, these are all things that where courses are available in places that you probably already know of. So let's talk about the course, the places you can go to get those courses. So TWIMS, NKO, we all know them for their mandatory training that you take, but they also house a bunch of courses that you may want to take advantage of. There's also a place called NKO University Class. This doesn't require a CAT card, and you can go there and take classes on leadership and management as well. There's a site called Defense Acquisition University. They have a Harvard mentoring class and lots of courses on leadership, management, and business acumen. Finally, if you want to broaden your HR portfolio, you may want to go take advantage of the courses offered in the CLC, the Corporate Leadership Council Gartner site. Things like succession planning, attrition, things that really broaden your HR portfolio. Again, all this information is on the portal site, so I really encourage you to go there and get the latest and greatest information. And again, I really want to encourage you to have a good conversation with your supervisor so that you and your supervisor can be on the same page. So finally, I wanted to give you an update on our filling of the site supervisor job. So the supervisory job down in San Diego is one that we've been filling. We've have a good set of final candidates that we're reviewing. We'll be making the selection soon, and we'll be announcing that. The team there is really strong and does a lot of hard work to provide you with training and development opportunities year-round. Looking forward to continuing with that. So from here, from beautiful Wildcat Lake in beautiful Washington State, I hope that you stay safe and healthy. Have a great day, everyone.
What's up, everyone? It's Robert in S1, and here are 7 S1 initiatives. As you all know, the building is closed the CAC readers have been deactivated. Should you require access to the building, please contact your immediate supervisor. Services that are no longer required, such as Wi-Fi, cable, and shredding, have all been suspended. Janitorial services have been put on hold, along with mail services. USPS is holding our mail at their local post office, and FedEx is holding our packages at the local FedEx distribution office. All ordering of supplies is on hold, as there's no one at site or on site to actually receive the packages. If you have CAC issues, the Passing ID office is open. However, with the rapidly changing pace of who is open and who is closed, since that's changing constantly, we recommend that you all do call and ensure they are open. The number is 858-307-1421. We want to continue to make sure that your time is recorded accurately in Cicada. Remember to use the type hour code of RG and environmental hazard code, which is EHZ of TS, which is telework situational. We also recommend that you update your time and attendance frequently rather than waiting till the day they have the EVT. Our desire is to provide a high level of customer service during this time, so please contact us at the S1 support box. We are checking it continuously and promise to get back to you promptly. Everyone, please stay healthy and safe out there. Thanks.
Good morning, OCHR. I would like to give you an update on our assessments. DC Pass conducted a virtual assessment this year from the 9th through the 13th of March, where they reviewed our delegated examining recruitments. We are waiting for that final report to come to us to see how well we did. Our Civilian Human Capital Management Assessment, our CHCM, that was scheduled for this year has been delayed. Currently, our S4 assessment team is working on a working group with headquarters and other OCHRs in order to review the assessment process, as well as our reporting requirements, our best practices, and any other systemic issues that we may have internal to Department of the Navy assessment program. Our ultimate goal is to identify where there's areas of efficiencies and also our best practices, and to share those with you. We want the whole staff to be audit ready and ensure that we are in compliance with all regulations. Our goal is to meet the Department of the Navy's priorities as well as the requirements from OPM. If you have any further questions regarding assessments, please do not hesitate to reach out to us and ask any questions you may have. We'll be glad to answer those questions. Our next CHCM is scheduled for FY21. Have a great day, stay safe, and be healthy.
Good morning, OCHR San Diego. Hope you all are doing very well. This is David Simpson. I'm coming to you for my last all hands as your code 20. From this point forward, Edric will be coming to you, bringing all the all hands messages. We had planned to be discussing this during this all hands meeting, the upcoming Windows 10 updates. However, as we've sent out in previous notes, that Windows 10 update will not occur if we're in teleworking status. So that kind of became overcome by events. So I did want to speak with you this morning very quickly about how we go about continuing to update our laptops with security and maintenance patches. Now, due to bandwidth considerations, NMCI has prevented maintenance updates and security updates from loading while we are connected to the VPN. However, they have enabled the Norfolk VPN to allow those security patches and maintenance updates to be pushed to our machines. Ultimately, they did this because of the current situation we are in, and knowing that we are all currently in a telework status, and we need to remain vigilant to ensure that our laptops and our government-issued machinery is kept current and up to date with the most recent security patches. So as a recommendation, please make sure that you, at least once weekly, connect to the Norfolk VPN, either in the evenings or on the weekends, and let your computer perform all the necessary updates and patches that it needs to ensure that we keep our networks secure from prying eyes, right? So thank you all. We really appreciate all that you are doing, and hope you are enjoying working at home. And I know that my family is probably ready for me to return to work and get me out of their hair, but for now it's kind of nice to be able to see them a little bit more and simultaneously be able to accomplish all that we have been tasked to do with this great mission. So thank you all. Continue doing great work and keeping up the great work, and we'll see you soon. Oh shoot, I forgot to turn the camera off.
Oh, hi OCHR San Diego. How are you guys doing? Welcome to my home office. Not quite as fancy as what I've got back at the center, but it'll do. Thanks to my husband for buying me this great TV. And he put a shelf up so I could have a stand desk, because as you know, my regular desk doesn't work. Got a great stand for my keyboard. And then I've got 2 screens. Yay, 2 screens. And then of course my ergonomic mouse. So yep, here's my home office. Not as big as what I normally have, thanks to Costco for their little table. And then my mother-in-law sewing machine helps as well. And then a big thank you to my son-in-law Patrick for giving me his old office chair. Take hand-me-downs, no problem. And as you know, like most of you, I've not been able to see any of the extended family. And so my grandbabies, I haven't seen them in 2.5 weeks, so there they are. I put them up on the wall. So I have an opportunity to look at them every day. There they are. And of course, you know, like all of you, we all have new coworkers. And I'll introduce you to my coworker. This is Coco. Yep, she is with me all the time, barks during conference calls, and is constantly wanting attention. Nothing like my coworkers back at the office. But anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for what you've been doing. I know there was fits and starts with getting everybody connected. You guys have all rose to the occasion. I'm seeing that things are moving smoothly. We're starting to all fall into our new normal, and I appreciate that. I'm hoping the all hands video that you guys are going to be able to see has provided you some information, and I'm looking forward to seeing other people's home offices and what your workspaces look like. I just again want to thank you for everything that you do. You make me look great every day. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Back to work.